Hey, welcome back to Two Stall Garage. Well, the majority of you said to save this 2005 Mazda 6. It's a 2.3, you know, I've looked, haven't really paid much attention. It is a no crank, no start vehicle. It was towed out here to the farm, only about 12 miles away. And I'm just gonna bring you up to speed of what's kind of been done on it. Hey, Brownie. When I was first taking a look at this car while it was sitting in that driveway of that empty property, I opened up the hood and I had a few things that I could do for it. Put my jump pack on it. I did that. Didn't start. Took a look at wiring. Over on this here side of the car, I found that the wires had been nicked a little bit. Not terrible, but they were nicked a little bit. Didn't think that that was the issue. I did make sure I separated them to make sure there wouldn't be any cross feeding. And what I found was, tested all the fuses for continuity. All of them had continuity except the TCM fuse. The TCM fuse is the 10 amp. And that would blow as soon as the key would go to ignition on. I replaced the 10 amp fuse a couple times. I had a few with me. If I would go into the accessory position, it'd be fine. If I go into the ignition 1 position, it would blow immediately. So what I did, went to the Junkyard, which isn't local to me. It's about 3.5 hours away. And I picked up a new transmission control module. Not new as in brand new, but new as in to myself and to this car. This is from a used Mazda 6, 2008 model. So I switched it out, really easy to get to, just right down here in front. Then when I hooked the power up and I turned the key on, still had a no crank issue, but that TCM fuse is no longer blowing. So I'm going to assume there was some sort of short in the TCM module. But I'm going to show you something else that I found, and it kind of reveals to me as to why it would be blowing. You live on a chicken farm and look what happens. Hey, there's Philly. And these two right here, kind of troublemakers actually. I don't know where the chief is right now. Come on, you can come out. I don't want you pooping in there. Hey, I just heard Chief. Hey, Chief. All right, so I took the cover off, obviously. I seen that the inside was kind of just deteriorating, that little layer of insulation on it. Started checking all the connections. I got back here, took this conduit off, and I got back here and I found this. 2 ground cables, which is connected to the alternator bracket. But they were held together by a hose clamp, and they were very corroded, greened up. I actually went and took and disconnected it. I cleaned all the wires up, and I'm not even gonna say splice, but I put them back together with the hose clamp just to make sure they're nice and tight for now. I need to get a connection for that so I can fix it appropriately, but I'm just trying to see if I can figure out where the issue lies, and I think that that was probably the culprit which caused most, if not all, of the issues. Next step I hooked up the multimeter to this. Battery is registering 11 volts, not fully charged, but had 11 volts. And I started pulling out fuses, and I got to this one right here. This is the defrost relay. Pulled that relay out, the battery recovered. Before that, it had a really big draw on it. Went from 11 to 10 to 9 to 8, slowly but surely going down. Pulled that relay out, battery recovered by about 2 volts. And that's the only one that had an impact on this. The only thing is it didn't stop the draw. The draw is still happening, and I'm going to show you that today. I did switch it out with this relay, which is the same. This relay is the Bose relay. I don't know if that's a stereo system. I don't know what the Bose relay is actually. But I put it in the defog slot, and it didn't increase the draw on the battery like that other relay was. I disconnected this entire harness. Nothing. Still doing the same draw. I disconnected it right down here at the block, and that stopped the draw. So let's test the battery out right now, see where we're at. My apologies about the wind. Okay, so I'm just going to set this to volts. It's at millivolts right now. We're going to change the range. So we're at 11.37 volts right now. As soon as I connect it up, it's going to change. Got a visitor, so I'll be right back here. Okay, so let's see if we can just get these to set there so I can show you what I'm looking at. All right, there's 11.37. Maybe I can hang this up so you guys can see it, I don't know. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Okay, 11.37. I'm gonna just touch this and it just starts drawing it down. Let me close the door here. Better close both of them. Okay, both doors are closed. We're back up to 11.19. Connect this up. And that's going to do this a little bit because the battery's weak. But as you can see, it's just going to keep drawing it down. Keeps going. Remember, all this was disconnected. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go disconnect the TCM. We're going to see if that does anything. Stand by. Okay, so here's the good TCM. This is the one that's not blowing the 10 amp fuse right here. We're at 11.3. Well, there it drops. Let's make sure we got a good connection again. We're at 10.75. Immediately it drops down again. Let's see if we can get a good connection here. There it is. Okay, let's put this back in and we'll test it one more time. Okay, TCM is connected back up. Still drops, so that's not going to be the issue. I disconnected the harness for the injectors. That did not have an impact. Disconnected the ABS. That did not have an impact. All these little miscellaneous connectors were disconnected. That did not have an impact. And I took the alternator, disconnected that. That also didn't have an impact. This is the first time I've ever had a vehicle where it's been a no crank, no start with some sort of weird electronic issue. Obviously, we got to repair the wires back here for these grounds. That is not good. A hose clamp isn't meant to be connecting wires together. So I think what I'm actually going to do right now, you guys are watching this at 10.96, I'm going to go in here and disconnect the computer and we're going to see if it continues to drop down or not. All right, the computer is disconnected. It's got 4 connectors on it. Not the easiest to get to. I got some sparks down here. I'm actually glad to see this because I think that means ideally that the computer is good. Let me close this door. Let's try it again here. Battery's recovering. Yeah, we're gonna assume the computer is good at this point in time. All right, we're back. I changed a couple of things around. I went and I grabbed the Optima battery. This is just one of 2 that we had in the 1-ton. This battery's testing out good. The other battery was testing out bad. So I just want to show you right now we're at 12.41 volts. This is a known good working battery, just so we get that out of the way. And I'm going to connect this fuse block to the 12 volt again, and we're going to watch what happens. We're at 12.43. Dipping down a little bit. Oh, we got the door open here. Let me grab that. I think a chicken's in there right now. Yeah, there was. It's inside now. I think what I'm going to do is, yeah, we're getting some sparkies. I am going to connect this up so I don't have to do this. I'm just going to use the actual battery. Ooh, yeah, it's drawn for sure. Tight and tight. 12.18 right now. Sorry if I'm yelling. Let's watch it here. Well, it's holding steady. I'm going to check that TCM fuse. TCM fuse is still good. Actually, that was the ECM. Let's check the TCM. It's the 10 amp right here. That's still good. Okay, so that's nice. I did happen to see that after I was messing around with the ground over there, this number 15 right here, this is for the injectors. It is blown, so I'm going to grab another one of these real quick. What are you doing in there, Brownie? Come on. Come on. Come on out. You got to come out. There you go. All right, we got a 15. Let's put it in. That's in. Let's just make sure it didn't blow right away. Oh, it's good. Just for giggles, I'm going to go turn it just to make sure nothing's changed. Make sure we still are in a no crank state. Stand by. No, we definitely got power in the car. Lights are working. Ooh, I heard that fuel pump. This might work. I'm hearing the fuel pump. This is surprising me, guys. Well, that is the first time that I've heard it crank. I don't know what exactly changed. Fuel pump again. Well, that's a good sign. We're getting closer. All right, what's not hooked up? We have anything disconnected here. I'm actually gonna go grab the code reader right now. We're gonna put that on it. Is there anything disconnected? I'm gonna crank on it a couple more times. You tell me how that goes. Okay, so the security light's giving me a funny blink going on. I'm gonna go grab, we got 2 other keys to try. Be right back. We got 2 more keys to try. Here's the new TCM, here's the old TCM. Fuel pump. Last key. Neutral. Who wonders if we're getting any gas in that thing? Let's go ahead and read the codes here. The fuel tank comes up just a little bit. All right, I gotta stop that. We're gonna drain the battery down. Who's getting excited? We're getting close. Before this wouldn't read with the computer, wouldn't communicate. Let's see if it does now. Key is in the on position. All right, it's trying to connect. These things always take a little while. We're gonna go all system modules. We do have a check engine light on. As soon as I start cranking the oil bag, I don't even know. The oil light goes off, so that's a good sign. You think I gotta put this relay in? No. You think? The defrog? Sorry. You gotta forgive me, it's early in the morning. The defog relay, do you think that has anything to do with it? Couldn't. We're gonna let this scan and see what it says. 79,234 miles on this. You gotta think that this would have quite a few miles left on it. It's a Mazda, so at least it's probably got 100, 120 more miles left on it. It's enough to make it to grocery store a few times and back. 43%. I'll bring it back as soon as we're loaded up with the codes. Okay, so we got a couple codes here. We've got UO100, lost communication with ECM, PCM, communication bus fault, receive error. That's just for the instrument control panel. The anti-lock brake module, lost communication with the ECM, PCM. We were disconnecting stuff, so that doesn't really surprise me. B1342, restraint control modules. B2290, restraint control modules. I don't know if that's the airbag, I'm not sure. What we're gonna do is we're gonna clear all the codes out. It's clearing them right now. Well, I can't hear any gas and they're shaking. So right now, that blinker's out, driver's blinker's out. Headlight, high beam and low beam are burnt out. Got some flashing lights on the dash, I don't know what that's there for. The other lights burnt out except for the high beam works. I'm gonna assume that there may not be any gas in this because perhaps that fuel gauge doesn't work. So we're just gonna do this while it's clearing the code. Give it a few gallons worth. You just never know. I'm going full committed on this. I'm gonna put about 4 gallons in. Now that we got it cranking, why not? A little bit more here. How about that? Now, ready? I don't know. Still really couldn't hear anything. All right, the codes are cleared. So let's turn it off. Let's turn it back on. The gas gauge still says about the same, so maybe that's a good sign. Here we go. Letting that fuel pump prime a couple times. Different key. What are we missing here? What do you think? It's not starting. It's cranking. What are we missing? Mirror, rear cigar, engine ignition, that's working. We're gonna swap these two around. This is gonna be main relay versus head relay. I'm just gonna swap these out. They're the same. The only two that can be swapped. It's got a little heat to it. I think it's working, actually. Okay, here we go again. Stand by. What are we missing here? Let's check that injector fuse again, see if that one blew again. If we don't have any feel going to them, then how can we expect anything to work? That's the problem. The injector fuse blew. Why is the injector fuse blowing? We're not gonna have any gas to it otherwise. TCM fuse is still good. Yeah, we got an extra 15 sitting right over here. So I'm gonna use that real quick. Maybe that's ill-advised. Can I get it out even? Probably not. Come on. All right. Here's a good 15. Let's see if it blows it again. Obviously, we're not going to have any gas otherwise. Didn't blow it yet. I'm just going to turn the key to the on position. Let's see what we got. Still good. Here we go. Come on, baby. Oh, it's close. They're starting to fire. We're still good. I don't know why it blew those two times. I can only assume that it has something to do with that terrible ground. I think once we get that fixed, we'll be good to go. Let's see if we can get it to run. There it goes, it's running, so obviously that fuse is good. It's running nice and quiet. That is just a big problem. Not good. Let's take a look inside. Power steering works. Do I dare? See if it goes in reverse. Oh, there's reverse. Drive. Yep. Okay, we got to check engine code. So I'm going to check that right now while it's running. And we aren't going to run this car very long. We're going to run it just long enough to check that check engine code. I don't want to have a problem with that burning out our TCM again. We're going to go to the check engine light this time. Just going to check that. I think you guys can see everything. Sounds good. 2 codes found. What do we got? 79,234. Lost communication with ECM. Lost communication with ECM. We're going to clear both of those out. Yes, it's clearing them right now. All right, no more codes. Closing out of that. Came right back here. Here's where we're at. I'm going to disconnect the battery and I'm going to fix that connection over there. And as soon as I get that fixed, we're going to get it into the shop and we'll work through it one step at a time. All right. So just a moment for you, probably about a day for me. I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and after kind of a big mess over here, I let it run up to temp. I fixed the ground just temporarily. I was able to get it set up so that we've got a good ground. I'm gonna have to get a new cable. Let's fire it up here. 79,234. Starts up, runs good. Keep an eye on the light over here. We got an airbag light that's flashing. Got Moose over here sitting with us too. Hey buddy. So you've got a battery light. Checked it out, charging about 15 or 16 volts, so that's too high. Not sure why that's happening here. Just trying to get down into, why are you showing in third? I think there's an issue with this here. It's not really indicating right. So you got park. Can we get the light to show up in reverse? There it is. There's neutral. Can we get the light to show up there? No. Drive. All right, we're gonna try it out here and see what happens. We're not in third, at least according to this. So with that said, let's do it and see if it shifts. It's our first drive since it arrived. No crank, no start, obviously. Got a new transmission control module in here. Came from a 2008. We'll see if it relearns itself or not. Get some shifts here. No shifts. Try to manually shift it here. How do we shift? Anybody know how to shift? Alright, so nothing's working with the transmission as far as the shifting goes. We've got first. Maybe do we have second? I don't know. See, it came all the way up to temp. That's good. So my thought is it's a transmission control module because it's a different one. The other one's sitting right there. Brakes are a little squishy on this. Yeah, it feels like it's starting off in third actually. So that might not be wrong. We might just be using third and fourth. Third again. Any shifts? I got it hammered and it's not shifting, so. Alright, we're just gonna baby this thing back. We've got some issues. Airbag light, battery light, engine light. I'm still not sold. I still think it's a computer issue. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. At least we're running and driving again. We're gonna take the alternator and get it tested. Make sure it's charging appropriately. If it is, leads me to believe we've got a computer issue. Another thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get a new battery for this, make sure we don't have any battery issues. Battery should be good, but we're gonna put the battery it calls for in it. And in the next video, we're gonna get it in the shop. We're gonna switch it back to the other TCM, see if it blows that fuse right away or not. But I would say, because of that bad ground, we've got all kinds of issues. We'll narrow them out one by one. Stay tuned as we get this back on the road. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Not good.